Sean McDowell, Josh McDowell, Michael Pigon here. Harmony of the Gospels Solved.com. I was just looking at your website over here for kind of, I think, the Josh McDowell Ministries. And the reason I went to that is because I'm trying to find good Christians. Not professional Christians, not prosperity Christians, just kind of like the way I like to imagine a Campus Crusade for Christ. So what this is the true timeline of Christ's earthly ministry. I'm about to introduce you to a project that is called the Harmony of the Gospels. But this is different because I actually solved it. This is a 13.5-foot poster that I just created in April 2018, which proves my 2000 project. So I'm going to introduce that to you because I think you might be good people. So I have a little bit of explaining to do, and while I do the explaining, I want to give you some good content as well. So on the scholarly level, I actually proved my harmonization as a research project. Azusa Pacific University, 2008, Master of Arts in Religion, emphasizing biblical studies. So, I was born in 1965, and my parents instinctively sent me to Christian school for 1st and 2nd grade, and then 5th and 6th grade. So I caught visibility of 1970s John 3:16 Christianity. And then, as life would have it, I didn't know about the Holy Spirit, and I didn't get saved until 1990 as a born-again Christian. I was 25 years old. So let me keep trying to give you some content about what this is, because I think that maybe you too, or the Josh McDowell Ministries, or the Campus Crusade for Christ, will be the people that I connect with. Because if you notice, this video is on the web page called Recipients, and unfortunately it seems like this list is going to have to keep going, because on the Masterpiece page, the 5 people that I chose to address this work to, I thought they were long-term friends, or they're all quiet. Dave Harmeyer is a Campus Crusade for Christ guy. He's treated me really well, but now he's silent. So I don't know if Azusa Pacific University is forcing the issue on him. I guess maybe Sean McDowell, you're an ambassador for Biola. Well, I'm the kind of Christian, I had a friend that was attending Biola while I was at APU. So I'm the kind of Christian that went to watch an APU Biola basketball game and sat with my friend and rooted, for Biola. I'm that kind of Christian. So when Campus Crusade for Christ, when they put pictures up of Christians, that's me, But let me keep trying to point you to this project, even as I try to relate to you a little bit emotionally or relationally, okay? This is Harmony of the Gospel Solved by Michael Pigon, which I created in fall of 2000 as an original and unique work, michael.pigon@gmail.com. And this is a spreadsheet. It's a 6-foot poster. This is 1 poster, 2 poster, 3 posters. So how did I get to the true timeline of Christ's earthly ministry? I'm going to show you, okay? And then what is this 13.5-foot poster? This is the proof, which I'm going to show you. I'm going to hold the camera really still. I'm going to take my time and explain this to you, because I'm hoping you two are the ones that will help me get this work out. Because Daryl Bach is silent. Pike Lambeth, New American Standard Updated, is silent. He's in La Habra. Okay? Stanley Gundry in Zondervan. Okay, everybody knows this book. This is a Harmony of the Gospels. Stanley Gundry. I guess he's still around. He's over at Zondervan. We lost Dr. Robert Thomas last year, apparently. Okay. So this is just chapter headings and subheadings in 4 cells. And when you just put the chapter headings and subheadings in a spreadsheet and print it out, it makes a 6-foot poster. Okay, and if you stand back and just kind of do a little color coding, you can see that like this section just goes up here. We have a true harmony of the Gospels. It's been solved. I'm going to show it to you. And that means we have the true timeline of Christ's earthly ministry. And that's what this poster will prove. So this is just a standard Pew edition, New King James Version, Nelson Publishers. I used this in the year 2000, and I just used the chapter headings and subheadings to make this poster. Okay, so this right here, Peter's mother-in-law is healed, many healed after Sabbath sunset. This is 4 verses, only 4 verses in Matthew. That material in Mark is right here. Peter's mother-in-law is healed, many healed after Sabbath sunset. Peter's mother-in-law is healed, many healed after Sabbath sunset. Here it is in Luke. Peter's mother-in-law is healed, many healed after Sabbath sunset. Here it is in Matthew. Peter's mother-in-law is healed, many healed after Sabbath sunset. This block of text, only 4 verses, it just goes right there. And there's only 4 blocks of Matthew that are out of order. These 3 just go right here. Here's the material in Mark. Here's the material in Luke. This is the second of 4 blocks. This block, Jesus forgives and heals a paralytic. Matthew the tax collector. Jesus is questioned about fasting. That's Matthew. Here it is over here. Jesus forgives and heals a paralytic. Matthew the tax collector. Jesus is questioned about fasting. Here it is in Luke. Jesus forgives and heals a paralytic. Matthew the tax collector. Jesus is questioned about fasting. Here it is in Matthew. Jesus forgives and heals a paralytic. Matthew the tax collector. Jesus is questioned about fasting. This is the second block of only 4 blocks. This block just goes here. This block goes here. This block goes here. This block goes here. And this block goes there. Do you want to know what the third block is? It's right here. Jesus is Lord of the Sabbath, healing on the Sabbath. Here it is in Mark. Let's go find it. Jesus is Lord of the Sabbath, healing on the Sabbath. Jesus is Lord of the Sabbath, healing on the Sabbath. Here it is in Luke. Jesus is Lord of the Sabbath, healing on the Sabbath. Mark and Luke. It's right here. There's only 4 of those. The first one goes here. The second one goes here. The third one goes here. The fourth one goes here. And everything else lines up. I did this work in 2000. And as you can imagine, a lot of people, they don't understand the conservative and the straightforward approach of this work. And there are some traditional, unfortunately, there's some traditional beliefs about the life and ministry of Jesus Christ that are unfortunately alienating people from this extremely objective, conservative, honest view. See? So, on a relational level, I was just kind of looking here, trying to get in touch with Campus Crusade for Christ, because the scholarly world is ignoring me. And I was in the emergency room 3 times last month. And now my heart, my chest pain is getting worse. I carry it all the time now. What's today's date? June 8th. It's a Friday, June 8th. So beginning last week, this pain doesn't go away. So I'm trying to find good people. In this right here is a harmony of the Gospels. Take a look at this. This is from 1965. This is a Reims Douay Catholic Bible. In this same Bible that I used, that has a harmony of the Gospels. It's the very first thing after Revelation 22. There's never been a consensus on the true timeline of Christ's earthly ministry. And now, through some extraordinary circumstances, I had to create this. So this is all the text from Matthew, Mark, and Luke. I'm going to climb this ladder. I'm going to show you a wonderful nugget that I think you'll appreciate, just to show you what's going on here. So I cover this in my video to Bock, B-O-C-K. You'll see he has his own page, and you'll see I cover this material. So I am communicating this to scholarship, but Dr. Darrell Bock of Dallas Theological Seminary, he went quiet on me. And these guys, they're all part of these institutions. Here, let me tell you what I mean real quick. I'm going to show this to you. I don't always have the best memory. I'm 53 years old here. Right here. Society for Biblical Literature, Evangelical Theological Society. Sean, I think I don't know if you went to Biola or not, but you might know, the instructors. I sent this work to 3 instructors at Biola. And you can see this letter that I sent. Scott Ray, Clinton E. Arnold, Michael J. Wilkins, they're all part of Talbot School of Theology, Evangelical Theological Society. That letter, it's on the website. You can just point and click. And nobody wrote back to me. That was in October 2015. So what happens is Mark and Luke align from top to bottom. Mark and Luke align from top to bottom. And there's a reason why scholarship has not always seen that. That's part of, we have in our Bibles Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John for a reason. There's a historical reason that we have that order, and it's for good reason. So there's a historical, scholarly, traditional reason, why we haven't always seen that Mark and Luke align from top to bottom. Now Matthew aligns from top to bottom also, except for these 4 areas. Right here. I get a little clumsy with my eye-hand coordination, so sorry about that. I'm going to go really slow, okay? So for your sake, all right? Not mine, okay? So all of this it all matches Matthew, Mark, and Luke. This is the last week of Jesus' life. He's just outside of Jerusalem going into Jerusalem. He had traveled down in Luke to go to his last Passover. Luke and John do a little dance right here. This is Luke 9:51. When the time had come for him to be received up, he steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem. He travels from the north to the south to go to the Festival of Tabernacles, John 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then if you're reading through Luke, cities and villages journeying toward Jerusalem. Here he is journeying toward Jerusalem again. Now he's going to the Feast of Dedication, John 10:22. Now here he is in the north again, to Jerusalem, the midst of Samaria and Galilee. This is Luke, traveling from the north to the south to go to his final Passover. This is a treasure chest of wonderful knowledge. Do you notice Mark and Luke? Matthew and Mark. I'm going to make sure I communicate all this to you, Sean and Josh. Okay. Matthew and Mark begin and end so many times at the same place, but this is the biggest one. This is about like 6 months of Jesus' ministry, where they stop and then they start. And in the middle, right here, is Luke and John. Luke and John. I'm going to tell you something I haven't mentioned on another video. These guys, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they avoid John's material like the plague. John was very special in more ways than have been, perceived or published. Maybe each component of John has been suggested in one place or another, but we're about to have a holistic understanding that John was not just a Jerusalem insider. He remember he let Peter into the inner court, or the outer court or the veranda. Remember that? Peter couldn't get in for the denial, and John was known by the high priest. See what I have to go through? See this poster? It's flying away. So let me start to close up, okay? Let me start to close up. It's going to take a little while, but this is what it looks like when I close. All right. So we have biblical permission to read these 4 blocks of Matthew according to where they appear in Mark and Luke, because of the 2-witness principle, that matters be established by multiple witnesses. That's Moses, Jesus, and Paul, and it's repeated in Hebrews. So if you see my Bach video, I talked to him, in a different manner of speaking, but it's pretty much the same, but I cover this material. So once we move this material to where it aligns in Mark and Luke, it looks like this. This is the displaced text. And you see how this is none of this in Mark or Luke have been moved. Look how nicely it lines up. And that's 3 seasons of Jesus' ministry. And this is what it looks like as text. I created this April 2018. This is 3 seasons of Jesus' ministry when you just put all the text. And so Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they each contribute material, right? So what happens is when you take all this text from Matthew and put it up here, Matthew informs what's happening up here. So when we can confidently look at Mark and Luke and Matthew, we see amazing things. I've known this since 2000, but I didn't create this work right here until 2018 for reasons I explain in my Bach video. It makes a person kind of nauseous to see it for the first time. Because you have to follow these crowds. I'm going to show you the crowd, and then I want to ask you to give me a call. Take my phone number down, please. I'm going to leave it at the end of the video, okay? Man, I hope you're watching. So once we move those 4 blocks, we have the seasons of Jesus' ministry. And this is summer, autumn, winter. Summer, autumn, winter. This is the area that's affected by the displaced text. Because everything else lines up. So now scholarship can write commentaries and reference works because they can confidently know the true timeline of Christ's earthly ministry. So I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to show you something. I don't know if this is going to work. The ladder is really steep. I'm going to climb it. I'm 53, so give me a break. I'm going to show you something. Come on up. 13 and a half feet. I'm going to show you the miraculous catch of fish. Yeah, there's an easier way to do this, of course, but the ladder's really too steep. I'm going to show you, hey, the ladder's really steep. I'm going to show you the miraculous catch of fish. I'm going to show you just one of many, many insights. I'm just reaching around here. Okay, the miraculous catch of fish. Luke 5. Okay, that teaching in Luke 5 is often confused with 4 fishermen called as disciples. Right now I'm breathing so hard I can barely even I don't even see it. Oh, yeah, way up here. I have no idea what you're looking at right now. It's way up there. Very early on, Jesus calls four fishermen as disciples. But what happens is when we align Matthew, Mark, and Luke, we realize that after Jesus had called 4 fishermen in Matthew and Mark, then he goes into Peter's mother-in-law. He heals Peter's mother-in-law. He heals many healed after Sabbath sunset. This was a fail. I'm going to send it to you anyway. What happens is there's these crowds. Matt, I'll show you on the other poster. The ladder's too steep. Jesus went on a huge preaching tour very early on, after he called 4 fishermen as disciples. Fail. But let me show you over here. Let me show you over here. So after John was put in prison, Jesus begins to teach and to preach. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Okay? And he calls 4 fishermen as disciples. Then he goes into a synagogue and casts out an unclean spirit. Then Peter's mother-in-law is healed, and many healed after Sabbath sunset. After many are healed after Sabbath sunset, Jesus goes throughout all of Galilee preaching. Matthew. He goes through all of Galilee preaching in Galilee. He goes through the synagogues of Galilee preaching in Galilee. And what I tried to show you is that Matthew, when I got a little dizzy climbing that steep ladder. That was a fail. Is that let's find it. Jesus heals great multitudes. Look at you don't even have to move it. Mark, Matthew, Luke. Jesus heals a great multitude. There's these crowds of people. So after Jesus calls the 4 fishermen and he does those things I just risked my life and showed you, he goes on this preaching tour. The 4 fishermen called his disciples, they go back to their nets. See? And Jesus goes through all of Galilee. These enormous crowds are following him. And he has to come back and get the 4 with the miraculous catch of fish. That's the context of the miraculous catch of fish. Sean, Josh, I don't know how many wonderful, amazing things have I tried to show you. 4, 5 in this video. That's the context for the miraculous catch of fish. It's not the same as when the 4 fishermen were called as disciples. No way. I'm going to leave you my phone number. And I'm gonna kind of close out here as I opened up. I'm just a Christian guy. I'm gonna tell you a little bit. This was the Bible I bought as a new Christian in 1990. No reference notes, no commentary. I wanted just a Bible. So I was one of those guys at 25, you know. You get saved and you just devour the Word. I doubt, Sean, that you've had that experience. I hope you have, you know. But you probably got saved in a good home, you know. And now scholarship and these people, they went quiet on me. So I'm trying to find my people. And so I thought of Campus Crusade for Christ. Then when I was looking around there, I put in some sort of, you know, weird call to like human resources and left a message. And then I saw, oh, Josh McDowell. I saw Josh, I saw you speak in Northern California at that Christian music festival. I was so impressed. Some Christians just have a good, nice speaking tone. You know, we're just nice people. And I had such a good time up there. I'm in Southern California that you've been on my mind. And now you're part of apologetics. You're part of Campus Crusade for Christ. And you and your son came out with this book for resolving apparent, contradictions or something? I was looking at this video. And I thought, oh my gosh, you know, he has a son. Maybe his son, you know, is a little more, what's it called, you know, approachable or something. And between the two of them, maybe they're two good guys. Let's get out the true story of Jesus' ministry. If you don't call me, I can't answer any questions. Was my presentation awkward? Was it, you know, confusing? There's so much here. This is just 3 seasons. Summer, autumn, winter. I know the story, and it's hurting me. I can't seem to get it out. I'm being ignored. I got bailed out last minute a couple days ago. Literally the last day I was going to be homeless. I haven't worked since January. I got physically assaulted 3 different times. Johnny Carino's, Rancho Cucamonga. I documented the whole thing, reported it, and their response was to let me go. I got hit by the general manager. He punched me in the solar plex. He was the second one to assault me out of 3. This area is killing me, but God's forced this issue. So I'm trying to find the Jesus people. You know, just Christianity, John 3:16, conservative scholarship. And people that are interested in the life of Jesus. It's very straightforward, okay? So here comes my phone number. I hope this has been bearable. I hope you'll give me a call immediately, because I fight chest pain every moment. I'm going to tell you what day and time it is right now, because every minute hurts to be alive. I have an appointment with a heart specialist July 16th. Today is June 8th at 1:53 p.m. Southern California Pacific time. Now here comes my phone number. Do me a favor, just pick up your phone and give me a call. Area code 626-327-2516. I don't care what time it is. If I don't hit the stop button, I'm gonna start crying. I've sacrificed a lot for this. Okay? I fasted 60 days in the year 2000. Water only. I've been through a lot. Okay, so here it comes. I'm going to save the phone number and hang up. I love you. Call me, please. Area code 626-327-2516. I love you.